right, today we coming to you with another episode of Auto Glass Tech Talk, and we taking it out to Arkansas, right? Eureka Springs, Arkansas. We got Little Apple with us right now. We appreciate you for taking time with us, Stosh. So, what's good, brother? How you doing?
Hey guys, thanks for having me today.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Let's start this off. So, tell us how the business began, where it started. Were you working at a company or just jumped out on your own from corporate? Give us the background.
So so this question has been like I was up all night thinking about it, and it's kind of a long question. Um so we moved to Arkansas in 93. My dad used to be a union iron worker, and he did this big tall famous buildings in downtown Chicago, and basically they needed a change. And so back in 93 we moved here. He went country, and slowly got into at first we just goofed off and went to junkyards, and then he realized he needed to get a job, so he started working at a glass company. Realized that was quite a bit different from the curtain wall he was doing on these skyscrapers, and that's where he started doing screens and mirrors and shower doors and windshields. And it was about an hour away from us north. And then he realized that there was um, a call here in the area for a glass shop. So he had his own shop, and just he made up flyers and started going door to door and just handing out flyers, and basically it went from there. But amongst that, like it's kind of complicated because we did a little bit of everything. So um, he's being an iron worker. He did a lot of iron work. So we did a lot of handrails. We did a lot of structural steel. Something else that we got into was batting cages back in the day. So we
Oh
actually
wow.
used to travel all over the country and install batting cages and like dig the hole, pour the concrete, set them up.
Mhm.
So as the business was kind of growing, it never really grew much because we would travel and we'd wonder like, why is everybody using these other companies? And they're like, well, you're not there. So um, so Dad kind of he didn't build a business, he built more of a job.
Mhm.
And so over the years, my wife and I have finally been learning kind of the hard way of how to run a business. And probably the past couple years, we've really scaled back. We've cut everything out, basically employees, everything, and we're really scaling back. We're like, what are the things we want to do?
Mhm.
And that's what we're doing. So we're it's all self basically from my dad and going to school and doing things. I like working on cars. So I was like, I like doing windshields. I enjoy that. Worst comes to worst, I can do that myself. I don't have to have a helper.
Mhm.
So I still dabble in some of the other stuff. But like today's schedule is kind of goofy. It's like I'm with you guys. I gotta go to a dealership, do a transit. I gotta go do a Tesla sunroof windshield, and then I'm gonna go actually work on batting cage, do some net dividers. So it's kind of a weird day, but I don't know how to answer it, but
Yeah.
it's family. It's my mom, my dad, my friends, my the guys I grew up with. They
Mhm.
were all part of it. My wife, my kids. My kids come with me sometimes. They've been coming with me out of town, and
Mhm.
they come with me on some of the jobs. My daughter will be in the office. She's 15. She's homeschooling now. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I can
nah,
keep
that
going.
That's
nah,
cool.
that's a cool ass story, man. Like working with
Yeah.
family and just switching it up from Chicago to Arkansas and like diversifying, doing a lot of things. So you hit on one thing that I wanted to ask about, just because a lot of people in glass they always talk windshields, but you mentioned batting cages, shower glass, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So on that end, can you tell me like how time consuming it is, and is it like profitable, or what's that kind of setup like?
Oh, for shower doors.
Yeah.
So the flat glass side of the business is probably way more profitable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely more profitable because the markup is 100% usually.
Mhm.
But it's just the problem is I don't know. I didn't enjoy it as much, and
Mhm.
then you end up getting into big storefront jobs or big jobs with bigger windows, and I need help,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it. We still do some, and so my wife is actually going to do some shower doors today. And that's the thing, whenever we scaled back a few years ago, we're like, what are the things we want to do? And her dad and her brother wanted some change
Mm-hmm.
from the things they were doing. So my wife actually, she'll measure the job, she'll draw the job, quote the job, order all the parts, everything, and then goes with them. And then they're kind of the muscle, and then
Mm-hmm.
she's orchestrates it. I still do
That's
some
cool.
here and there, but no, I mean, she actually cut mirror yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't. So I mean, she's without her, the business would be dead. She's amazing. So, um, but yeah, so I still do like. There's a lot of historical district here,
Mm-hmm.
so old wooden sash repair, puttying windows,
Mm-hmm.
patio doors. Um, so, but it's gotten to the point where I don't have time anymore. The windshields have just really taken off. I got into some dealers and body shops and stuff, and like that really demands all my time. So that's kind of what we stick with, just because we enjoy it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
That's
I don't know.
cool.
I can go on
You got a lot
forever.
going on.
It's
Everybody's
too
involved.
much.
Everybody's touching something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's way back when it used to drive me crazy because everybody would ask, "What do you do for a living?" And I'd be like, "Well, what don't I do?" So, um, and I didn't know how to explain it. So, but it's actually great now. I'm like, I do auto glass. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So being there since you said 93?
yeah.
93. Okay. Being there since 93, you've, kind of grown up to that area. You got a lot of friends and relationships with other body shops, tint, wrap. Like you got a big network out there.
So, yeah, I mean, it really grew these past few years with the auto glass, and so yeah, everything's word of mouth around here. That's the big thing, is word of mouth. Is everybody, is like, who do you use? Who do you go to? Um, so yeah, it's a pretty small town. I mean, I think you've been close to there. You've been to Bentonville,
Yeah.
I think. And
Mm-hmm.
once you
Yeah.
come
I've
over
been in the
here,
area. It's
yeah.
small
So
stuff out there. Yeah.
yeah, very small. So everybody knows everybody, and it's all connected. Um, so I mean, if you do something wrong, like, it spreads quickly. So, um, you always try to do the best you can. But yeah, I don't know what's the question.
Yeah. So
Just talking with everybody. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So you network a lot. So I see a lot of your social media stuff, right? Instagram, Facebook, and the photos and all of that. So I see, like you said, networking, especially in a small town, like you gotta network to actually like get more business to help you because like it can spread good or bad about you. But yeah, networking is cool. And so would you give others that advice of networking? Because I know, like you mentioned earlier, like you like to do what you want to do. So like networking and letting people know what you do can be helpful and hurtful. So like advice on that, you down with networking, or has it helped you in a lot of ways?
So it's definitely a necessary evil nowadays. I absolutely hate social media and stuff. That's just not me. I mean, I love marketplace because I love buying junk, but
Right.
um, so what's really helped with, I mean, getting out there, being in the car community is the big
Mhm,
thing.
mhm,
Being a part of the local clubs, being a local the scene, that spreads really fast. Going to the car shows and stuff like that, and that's where it's helped with like the old cars, and that's what I like working on, is the old cars, and nobody likes doing that anymore. The new generation doesn't understand it, and
mhm,
we do all kinds of glass, so I can cut all the flat stuff and do chop tops, and
mhm.
um, I'm not afraid of any of that old stuff. I've been messing with it my whole life. So, but the social networking and stuff, I mean, you have to have it. You have to have that presence because that's the phone book nowadays.
Yeah.
Nobody opens the yellow pages.
Right.
So, I mean, everybody goes there. And I mean, it always blows me away how much, I mean, some of the questions that people have or they see on there, everybody pays attention. And you don't see it like immediately, like with likes or comments, but later on you'll be talking to people and they're like, hey, I was talking with a buddy, he's like, hey, I seen that Viper windshield you did the other day, that's pretty cool. And you realize that people are looking at it, and
Yeah.
it's spreading. The big thing, so I didn't know like detail shops like that
Mhm,
blue that I had no idea that that was a thing. But what I've learned is with these detail shops, these higher end clients that they just want their cars babied and taken care of. And guys, with the, Walmart's huge and, just that whole executive area and money.
mhm,
And they, they'll buying their Porsches or buying their new trucks or buying whatever it is. And they drop it off at these detail shops and they're like, hey, do whatever, do all this stuff. This is what it needs. See you later. And then
right,
they do that again over and over. And being on social media, being on, with some of the body shops local, being in that car community, some of the guys got my number and it's spread. And so like they call me up and like the clients have a go-to person in
mhm,
the detail shop, and then I'm the go-to guy for rock chips or um, whatever glass repair, polishing, whatever it is.
right,
So that really surprised me. I didn't know that was a thing. But, the body shops I'm used to, I got a few small body shops. The big stuff, it doesn't fit me. The big caliber collision or, whatever
right,
it is, it's too high paced and cutthroat and I don't know, it's just too corporate and I'm not a
I like
corporate.
the smaller mom and pop shops
yeah,
myself. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No.
It's better feel, you get a better vibe with everything.
Yeah, everybody. I got their cell phones. They leave a key. If I'm running late, I'm like, hey, I'll be there
yeah,
after work. Sometimes I show up at 7 or early in the morning before they get there, cut the glass out, do it
mhm,
later.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, appreciate that. Appreciate that in-depth answer on that. And talking about social media, I got a question for both of y'all, right? So shout out Todd Jones, right? He made this post yesterday and he asked about he's new in the industry, right? And his question, I'm gonna read word for word. Let me find his question and read it word for word. He says, roughly how many windshield installs are needed before you're just okay and experienced? I understand it takes time. So far, every windshield we've done has been different vehicles, which helps and hurts. We're making some mistakes, but in our learning curve, so far, not the same mistakes. So the question is both of y'all is when y'all got started, if y'all was giving someone advice now, about how many installs does it take, or like what's some things as far as training? Like I know it's hard to put a number on the installs, but as far as training goes and starting out, what are some things that could help him and that he should be looking for within his journey of just starting out doing replacements? I start with you, Drift. You go first.
Man, that's a tough question there. How many installs? Um, I don't know if I could put a number on that myself either, but um, I mean, definitely hundreds, if not, in the thousands range.
Mm, yeah.
The obviously it's just the more you do, the more you touch, the more you're gonna learn. It's one of those things. No matter how many cars you touch. I mean, you could touch 10,000 cars and still learn something new on another car. So it's hard to really put a
Yeah.
number on that. I like to kinda try and go by years,
Mhm.
if you're actively installing every day, I mean, after, 5, 6 years, you've seen a good majority of different stuff that can get you by,
Mhm.
um, even when something newer comes up, I feel like. I don't know,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard question. Because I'm still learning every day. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's still, and the other thing is like temperature makes a difference,
Mhm.
climate, like where you're at. So like everything changes once it gets cold, once it gets hot.
Mhm.
Like today, yesterday it was warming up, and then some of the stuff that I was struggling with, a few days ago, now that it's warm, tape is releasing, moldings are
Mhm.
getting easier to move. So, and then it depends on who was there before you, and what they
Mhm.
did. And so it's just experience and it's just time. And the more you can do it, the more, so like, whenever we first started, I used to do, man, I thought if I had 5 windshields a week, that was a huge week.
Right.
And then, now I mean, 5 windshields a day is the standard day.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, the more experience, and I'm learning more now that I'm doing more all the time the
Mhm.
past several years. So it just stick with it, keep going. Um, just everything's a new learning curve. And I try to bank that stuff in my brain and,
Yeah.
because everything is truly unique.
Yeah,
So,
nah, good
Yeah.
points from both of y'all. I feel like one, like Todd's trying to get better. He's doing this thing, right? So I feel that part. You asking the questions, you're trying to get better. But I think you made a great point, Stosh, when you saying you got the different seasons. So you might have done, let's just say,
Yeah.
50 windshields. Well, if you've done all them in the winter, then the summer is gonna be spring's gonna be different than the summer. So you got to go through the season. So I think that is actually a cool point that you actually make there. But for like us, when it comes to repair, we always tell people repetition. And always just the advice I give people is when you do a repair, and it probably work for replacements too, talk to yourself. Tell yourself what you're doing, why you're doing, and that can kind of help you as you go along. But just keep getting the experience down, keep documenting. And like he said, he's got the learning curve and he's not making the same mistakes that he's making. So I feel like keep doing your thing, Todd, and always reach out to the online. A lot of people have answered them already, but just reaching out to others to get insight and yeah, don't be afraid. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
Okay.
asking questions.
Kind of jumping back a little bit. You said you do a lot of old schools. That's kind of you like doing those more. What's your favorite old school? Um, and then when it comes to like moldings and parts, you have a preference on brand you're using. I like the precision and the steel stuff. That's my go-to for everything.
Most definitely. Um, yeah, so on the molding aspect, I mean, going to the Auto Glass Week and stuff and going to car shows, with Precision. Precision is really active in the industry,
Yeah.
and that's what I really like about them. I mean, Joel and Derek and Greg and those guys they're all great guys, and I love seeing them and joking around with them. And if I got any question, I love calling Joel up, and he'll be riding his bike and answer the phone. So anyway, it's
Joel
just
always answers.
Yeah.
yeah, he always answers. So it's those guys are really great. They don't do everything though. So, when you get into some of that specialty stuff, of course steel is definitely the go-to. They're not as personable. I don't know any of those guys, but
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
I've tried. I've seen them at SEMA. I've seen them, I've talked to them, but it's just a corporation. But they have a great product. And so those are definitely the go-tos, but like the other day, we're dealing with a 60 Dodge Pioneer that's going to SEMA this year, and I'm trying to find moldings for it, and nobody has it. It's 100% obsolete. So that's when you start going down a list of like, okay, who are all these different companies like Restoration Specialties? I called that guy up, and so you just start going down the list.
Yeah.
And then like every day stuff, the precision's great. It seems like Gold Glass Group has really picked up. They used to be absolute junk back in the day, but it seems like
Yeah.
they've changed.
Mhm.
So I don't mind those guys. So I try to stick with either one of those, but precision's the main one. The
Yeah.
old school stuff, I don't have like a favorite. We got a 56 Chevy coming up here pretty soon. I got a 53 Ford in the garage. I like working on the stuff. The problem is like you really have to step back and like with this Ford, my problem is you have to like working on everyday car stuff, going to the dealerships and doing that. Then you have to go to the old car, kind of switch back. And like the front and back windshield is not that big of a deal, but then when it comes to the door glass and the vent windows, and vent windows are terrible. It
Mhm.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Um, what it is. I mean, it's awesome now that Precision's doing that with the C10 stuff. So now you just send it off and have them do it. But um anyway, it's I don't have a favorite. It's you just got to reset and go back
Mhm.
and do that. Um so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do that a lot. I
so
try
so
to try to kinda plan a day, or if I'm gonna do my old
yeah,
school, that's what I'm doing. You just gotta kinda put yourself mentally in that state,
yep,
Mhm.
to slow down a little bit, that's what it is
right.
for me at least, just to slow
Yeah,
down a little bit, and I gotta, take my time and just go through the motion on everything I'm working on with it, and,
yeah.
usually it comes out good, but, it's totally different than that, if like a '23 Tundra, I'm just jamming away and
Mhm.
doing my
Right.
thing versus slowing down and making sure everything is lined up and in its position right.
Yeah.
We had a
Uh,
56 Chevy in here the other day, and they actually back half the car. So the back half of the car was different from the front of the car,
mhm.
and once it came to the quarter windows, like, they didn't fit. Like, it just didn't.
Mm,
I ended up like no matter I would have had to do some structural cutting and modifying
mhm,
and anyway, so it's just you got to rethink and figure out how this stuff goes. And I actually have a bunch of connections with old car guys and friends and stuff. So I have a bunch of old cars. So I'll end up going home, taking apart some cars, getting old wheels and
mhm.
clips and stuff like that, and then bringing them back. And
Yeah.
so,
That's cool.
Yeah, that's what's up. So, question for you. Appreciate you for taking time with us. I know while we were waiting for you, you had a delivery come a glass. So, question is, what did you get delivered? What you working on, and what was your what's some installs that you got going on?
so what I had delivered was a really complicated mirror.
Hmm.
Um, so it's got um It's got 2 medicine cabinets in the middle of it, so I had to have some notches or holes cut in the middle of it, and it has a notch.
Hmm.
Um, Same thing, it actually came from the, car community.
Hmm.
This guy actually builds houses through one of the detail shops.
Hmm.
So one of the detail shops he uses, he brings his Lamborghinis and Porsches and all this stuff, and then he also builds houses,
Hmm.
and he asked a few questions to other people and they brought up our name. So that's how we got connected with him. And that's actually about an hour away. Um, so anyway, it was a complicated mirror. I usually cut a lot of that stuff, but because the center of it is cut out
Hmm.
with the CNC stuff nowadays, man, I have it made because it is way too easy for them to do it, and it comes as such a nicer product, and
Yeah.
I don't tear my hair out trying to do it. So,
Hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now break a few pieces just to get the one.
oh my
Right.
gosh, you never know. Glass is glass. Like you
Yeah.
Yeah.
just, I mean, you'll do it 100 times, and the next time, like it goes crooked, and you're like, "What happened?" And who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're doing that, and then I got to go do this transit and this Tesla, and that's today. So
All right. There you go. So,
So,
go for it. Go get it.
okay. I was gonna say, so talking about deliveries, having doing these cars today, what was your last distributor purchase that was not a windshield?
so it was rain sensors, so rain sensor pads.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I did a Nissan Armada the other day, and I didn't have the rain sensor pad, so I stopped by and picked those up.
All right.
Um, that was it.
What
So,
about you, Drift? What was your last purchase from a distributor? Wasn't a windshield.
My That wasn't a windshield. Uh, well, funny enough, it was a rain sensor, and I just returned it yesterday. It was an old, for like 2002 Passat, the old white ones. It's got the big block that usually they save. I always get them just in case it's
Mhm.
not savable, and this one came out fine, so off it went back.
There you go. All
you
right,
never
so
know.
so I got a question for both of y'all here, and I start with you, Stosh. So first, the question is: name one item or tool that's on your wish list for 2025 and why.
Um, so I'd like to probably I haven't got a bat. I'd probably like to try one of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got the Final Cut from GT, but I'd like to try something else. And I think the caulk gun company was a Meritool.
Hmm.
Don't they have a new caulk gun out?
Yeah,
So I'd like to do some research on that and see if it would help in these colder climates.
Hmm.
Not having to heat it up. I think it's a little more powerful.
yeah.
So those are the only two things. I mean, I got hordes of tools, so
Yeah,
I'd definitely like to try a different string tool for sure.
there you go.
Okay.
So what about you, Drift? What's on your wish list?
So speaking of that Meritool caulking gun, it's the new one with the M18, the Milwaukee battery on it, but it's still lightweight and more powerful, like the Power Push. Just
Hmm.
got one. I got a few of them, so I got one in stock, but I got one for myself to have, and that thing's pretty nice. It's pretty smooth. Um, so let's see, man. It's hard for me to have like a tool wish list because if there's a tool that I want, it's just
Yeah, yeah,
we just go get it, add it to the inventory here.
right.
Um, I saw something online I'm probably gonna grab, and it was called a triceratops.
Hmm.
I don't know if anyone saw that one. It's a string tool, but it looks similar to a couple others that are out there, like a bison, frog kind of thing.
Hmm.
But it's just a off-brand random one, and can't find the link for it anymore. So if anyone has one, share it.
There you go. Well, yeah, well, we appreciate the insight on everything on that as far as tools and like what's on your wish list. And for everybody who's watching this, if you got something on your wish list, drop a comment below. Let us know what tools you looking to potentially get. And give feedback on the bat and on the mirror tool gun if anybody is out there using it. And let us know what y'all think of it. And yeah, so appreciate you for your time, Stosh. And last question for you, for I guess both of y'all. Are you going to Auto Glass Week in SEMA this year? If so, let us know.
So I'd really like to go to Auto Glass Week. Being in Reno, it's a 24-hour drive. I always drive to the events so I can bring stuff back. But I am also putting on a swap meet, and the swap meet is the following week. So I
Okay.
don't know if I can miss work that much.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in my radar. And then SEMA, I got family out there, so I like to go see the family, and it's kind of a family event. My uncle comes down, my dad comes with me, and we all
Mhm.
hang out and go see. And last year, I was able to have a vehicle I worked on there, so that was really cool. And we're working on this
Nice.
next one.
What vehicle did you work on last year?
It was a '53 Chevy COE for Max
Okay.
Grundy, had a chop top on it. And
Okay.
so I got Precision to sponsor that. And then I cut all the glass, custom cut it and fit
Okay.
it. And then he's got the 60 Dodge Pioneer that we're doing this year. He's doing, and I'm trying to set all the glass on it. So, and it's got a chop top on it. So we're trying to
That's
do
what's up.
that. So SEMA's for sure. That's in the books. Auto
Mhm.
Glass Week, I really want to. I enjoy it. I haven't been in a couple years because it's been hard, but
Mhm.
we'll try.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah, we
yeah.
look
Well,
forward to seeing you there.
yeah. Look forward to
Yeah.
seeing you. I know I see you around the way. See you all the time at SEMA. So, we appreciate you. Appreciate you for your time, and hope you crush it on the installs you got today. You got a busy day, but a cool day, like you said. You switch it up a little bit and all that. So yeah. So thank you for your time, and Drift, thank you for your
Yep.
time and for the insight. And for everybody below, drop a comment below and let us know your cars you're working on this week and what you got going on. And yeah, appreciate y'all. Till next time.
Yeah.
Right on.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
doing the videos, guys.
All right, no problem. Y'all take
Yeah.
care.